This is The Discourse with Dr. Ken.
Hello out there. It's another Sunday, it's another episode of The Discourse, and I welcome you today. Today, you could see my voice is stronger and more joyous because it's Christmas. Apparently, this is the Christmas version and episode of The Discourse. So we'll make it jolly, we'll make it fun. And today we are discussing travel and tourism because it's synonymous and it's related to Christmas because there's a lot of movement and a lot of joyful situations with families, with groups, and all said and done. So today we're going to have Yinka Folami with me. We were deliberate. We kept this waiting for the last Sunday or penultimate last Sunday for the discourse for the year 2024. So tourism and travel culture in Nigeria. You know what? I chose the very best. The head of the association, Nigerian president, the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Travel Agencies, and he's the chief executive officer of Travel and Logistics, TLC. I'm talking about no other than Yinka Folami. Yinka, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine, Dr. Ken.
Yes.
Good to be here with you.
Yes.
I'm at home with you.
Yes, I'm aware. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling the Christmas?
Yes, just like any Nigerian. Yeah, I am feeling the Christmas.
Feeling the Christmas.
Yeah.
You could see that everything is coming together. There was a bit of traffic last week, but now it's loosening up because a lot of people are taking positions for the joyous nature of Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, but Google still went wrong on Friday. I think the traffic, yes, is easing out and it's also rebuilding. So what happened was that, the way we were trained, I set out early because I didn't want to get caught up.
Yinka Folami is the national president of the Nigerian Association of Nigerian Travel Agencies, NANTA, and the chief executive officer of Travel and Logistics Center, TLC. Yinka Folami has a brilliant academic and professional background spanning over 25 years. He's a clear and active thinker, focused on the goal and positive about the outcomes. Yinka Folami aspires to leadership and consultative roles in executive management, administration, and strategy. He's committed to advocating for the policies that advance the tourism and travel industry, bringing fair play, excellence, innovation, and growth. Yinka Folami is married with 3 children. Yinka, I summarized that as much as I could.
The only thing you didn't say is that you also once my mentor, or you still are.
Yes, once a mentor, always a mentor. That's why I left it at that, because during the course of the conversation, I'm sure anybody who is discerning will pick up that. So let's go in straight. Yinka, what, when people hear travel, what exactly does it mean? Is it just movement from place to place?
Yeah, if you go by the functional definition, travel is the activity that bridges or covers the friction of distance.
Okay.
Right? But it just doesn't stop at that. I always, whenever I have the opportunity, I always say that travel is life. Travel is integral to everything,
So travel is life.
Travel is life.
Travel is life. Okay.
Is integral to everything that we do. And just like you said earlier, it is webbed into tourism. It's an enabler to everything we do, including tourism.
Okay, let me. I did introduction, of course, because I know you very well. But let me give you, for the sake of audience, the opportunity to introduce yourself properly. Because when people hear NANTA, they wonder. I mean, for the larger audience, some people around tourism may know, some people around travel may know. But what is NANTA? And how did you come about becoming president of NANTA?
Okay, so NANTA is
the journey.
NANTA is the National Association of Nigeria Travel Agencies.
Okay.
So you were right there. Yeah, I am the president of NANTA. NANTA was founded in 1973.
1973.
Yes, so that makes us 51.
Okay.
But we didn't get our birth certificate until 3 years after, and that I mean our first AGM was 3 years after.
Okay.
So we were on the 48th AGM, and that was the AGM that ushered me into presidency.
Okay.
Yeah, so I am the president of NANTA now. You said my journey. I think my journey started with people like you. Wanting to get involved, particularly when you believe that you have something to offer in that space. And I'm sure that by the time we go through this conversation, we will understand some of the reasons why I got involved. I started being the VP of Lagos Zone. That's one of the zones in Nanta. Nanta has 5 zones spread across the country. Yeah, so Lagos Zone is easily the most boisterous zone, about maybe 60% of the market. And then from there, after a 4-year tenure as VP of Lagos Zone, I was now inspired to aspire for presidency, which I did. It was a fair election, and I emerged as the president. And since then, I have been a mechanic, like you understand. You know, that's our training. I have been a mechanic for policy. You know, the trust basically is fair play and to protect our market. And we all understand that fair play is a moral obligation. It's a moral obligation that we all owe, particularly as leaders. It's difficult. It's difficult to achieve, but the important thing is to start the conversation. And when you start the conversation, you know the way change happens. Change happens slowly, and eventually we will get there. It's on the lips of everybody now, including all our leaders, and we expect that we will get there, particularly now in Nigeria, when we feel very active needs to protect our market.
So staying with Nanta, you know, and you talked about an organization that has stayed over 50 years, so it has evolved. But things are quite dynamic, more so in Nigeria. You know, I've moved around the world, but I've hardly seen any more fast-paced, more dynamic society than Nigeria, with its own peculiarities. So different presidents of Nanta may have had different objectives and vision and have achieved great things. What do you think is your priority in terms of to-do list for Nanta? What would you have achieved? Is it tenure 3 or 4 years?
The tenure is 2 years.
2 years, okay.
And I'm already 8 months gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like you said, we've had veterans that have been leaders of Nanta. And one thing we've learned to do in Nanta, we advocate for downstream aviation. We are responsible for distributing usually about 70% of airline tickets. What I would like to be known for, right? I would like to be known for fair play.
Fair play, okay.
Yes, I would like to be known for fair play. I would like to be known for equity. You know, because it's a fragmented sector. Do you understand? And any fragmented sector, that's the downstream aviation. Any fragmented sector, we all know that regulation is weak. Yeah? Yeah. So if regulation is weak, we have to play fair, get everybody together, so we can go on the collective path, to organizing our trade. Yeah, so that's what I want to be known for.
Okay.
I want to be known for fair play. I want to be known for the direction that is focused on protecting the market. And we are there now. You know, if I get the opportunity to speak about it, I'll tell you many reasons why we need to protect our market, because our market is chipping.
Yes, we'll get to that. Now, in your space and beyond your space, you know, I'm very particular about the name and naming of companies. You know, a lot of people, you know, don't understand how important it is when you name companies, because you have to live it. And there are reasons behind names. You don't just wake up and ask your wife, darling, what do we name this business? And she gives you a name and you run with it. And you say, what is the payoff line? He gives you a payoff line and you run with it. This payoff line must be synthesized. It must be worked by individuals and professionals who would give meaning to it. So it has meaning, it has essence, it has a purpose. So TLC is the name of your company, and I like that name a lot. And coming from the same background and industry, I know you would have thought about it properly. So for the purpose of those listening, why did you call your company TLC? And what does TLC in full mean?
Okay, so to the viewers, I told you that as we go on, you'll find out the relationship between Dr. Ken and I.
Yes.
So TLC, we are on Classic FM, and any person, any listener as old as Dr. Ken and I will understand what TLC means. It's tender loving care.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and Travel and Logistics Center, you know, which is a full stretch of the name, is generic to the business, right? And when I was coming in, because I came from a marketing background, a marketing communications background, I thought that the best way to compete or to break into travel, you know, was to pay attention to care.
Yinka, as someone with over 20 years in the industry, how would you describe the current state of the travel, tourism, and culture in Nigeria? Is it evolving fast enough? And I'm talking about using global, not local standards. In your own estimation, is it evolving fast enough?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So the state of tourism and travel in Nigeria, we haven't started.
Oh, we've not even started the conversation.
Yeah, I think I don't think we have started. And you and I and many people our age bracket, we are responsible for it.
Okay, why?
For example, Dr. Ken, I am your mentee. I've known you closely for over 20 years.
Yes.
And you've never told me that there's a cave in Enugu where God once lived.
Okay.
That's a tour asset.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say on air today that people like you and I are responsible.
All right.
If I was in Gambia, I was in Gambia 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I met the owner of an eco lodge. We all know what an eco lodge is. Yeah? Eco lodges became popular after COVID. I met the owner of an eco lodge called Linda English.
Okay.
And Linda walked up to me and said, Tolman, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria. It's exciting to meet a Nigerian. But all we hear about Nigeria is negative things. I said, but we're not negative people. I'm here, and we've had some interactions. Yes, certainly, you are not negative people. But you need to advertise your country more.
Yeah, because if you don't tell, you don't sell.
Yeah. You need to advertise your country more. So that is one gap. Dr. Ken, yeah? I can go on, right?
Yes, sure.
So you and I, we were involved in advertising Indomie. Because when Indomie first came to Nigeria, they came into our group.
Yeah, we created that brand.
We created the
So
brand.
we are proud to say we built Indomie in Nigeria, isn't it?
And Indomie is in every household.
Yeah, it's a member of every household.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we have a responsibility to put Nigeria.
And that was the objective from day one. That was the brief.
Yeah.
Make it a member of every household.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why can't we make Nigeria a member of every household? And I think it starts from us getting serious about Nigeria. Yeah? It starts from us getting very serious about Nigeria. In my experience, and you and I have a lot of these conversations, I think that we have stopped seeing the Nigerian state.
Yes.
And I think it's a responsibility for communication to bring that back. We've stopped seeing the Nigerian state. I was with a friend. Yeah, just permit me. Give me just 1 minute or 30 seconds. I was with a friend. We were having a conversation. Obviously, these days when you sit down, the first thing you start to talk about is the state of affairs in Nigeria. And he told me that he was in a project meeting with another good friend, right? And he was talking very passionately about the project and about how it will serve Nigeria. And after the meeting, the friend called him, closely and quietly. And I don't want to mention his name. He said, look, brother, Nigeria doesn't need help. Just take what you need from Nigeria and leave Nigeria.
So nobody owns Nigeria?
Nobody owns Nigeria.
It's free for all?
Free for all. So that's why I said we haven't
no
started.
Citizenship, no nationalism.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No ownership.
No ownership. We have pipes. We have several pipes of inefficiencies, of people that don't see the country. And I don't want to sound political. I think when the president came around and said that we should change our national anthem to the old one that is now the new one, I connected with him. Because that old national anthem, how does it start? Nigeria, we hail thee.
Yes.
That's where to start. We have to go back to Nigeria. So, as for tourism, the reason why I say we haven't started is that we have over, if I say we have 2,000 assets in Nigeria, that's still understating it. Yeah? Over 2,000 assets. I went to Enugu and the Commissioner for Tourism was saying that they had over 300 assets in Enugu alone.
Yeah.
And until we come to that,
we have to come back to that conversation.
Yes.
In fact, we need a conversation.
Exactly. Yes. I don't even think the time we have on this program will be enough.
Yeah, it's not enough.
So I'll be very happy to always come back.
Yeah, we need. When I mean newcomer, I mean Nigeria as a whole.
Yes.
Because I get you and I get your drift. If we don't, we have to go back. We have to step back. I think we are progressing in error. If you ask me, in many fronts. And then talking about hailing Nigeria, talking about the national anthem. As long as when you hail Nigeria, then when you need Nigeria to hail you, So it's a chicken and egg thing, and that everybody has to understand that. So let me ask you a question a lot of people are interested in, since the moment I advertised this topic, and it has to do with tourism or survival. Some argue that in a country battling with economic hardship and level of insecurity, tourism therefore seems like a luxury few can afford. Do you agree that Nigeria has bigger problems than tourism? And this is not me saying, but the messages I'm seeing on screen.
You see, Nigeria is tourism. You see, the greatest asset we have in Nigeria is our people. Yeah, and I think it's very wrong for anybody to think that Nigeria has bigger problems than tourism. That we are not seeing tourism as a product. Yeah, and we are not seeing tourism. Look, I make bold to say that if there is any product in Nigeria today that will give Nigeria a second chance, it's tourism. So it's tourism. If there is any product that will give Nigeria a second chance, it's tourism. And when you talk about security, yeah, Dr. Ken, I'm well traveled, and you are well traveled, and we have a lot of security is a concern in any country that you go.
Yeah,
it is a concern. But the most important thing is how security information is managed.
Yes.
Yeah, if anything happens on the streets of Lagos today, in 1 second, it's all over the world.
Yeah.
Security isn't managed that way. I had an experience, I'm not going to mention the country because in travel, we are trained for anti-competitive reasons. We are trained not to mention countries and airlines and all of that. But I was in a country once, we went as a group, Nanta. Yeah, we went as a group. And I think on the third day, some of my members just went down the road. Yeah, just went down the road, yeah? And this is a country with easily the highest tourism volume in Africa.
And they were mugged?
Yes. Their phones, everything. Yeah? Just down the road from us. Everything. And there was a police station there, on the same road. They went in the police station, incidented it, and came back and told us. But as leaders, we said, okay, let's even approach the police station and see what remedies we could get. Guess what? They pretended like nothing happened. Yeah.
They're protecting their country.
Exactly. And that happens everywhere. So for us to stay, I always advocate, right, that we should start with what we have. Yeah, we say we have bad roads.
Yes.
In Gambia, yeah, Gambia says they're the smiling coast of Africa.
Yeah.
It's the biggest asset they have, tourism. If you go on a bad road in Gambia, you know what they call it? Yeah,
right.
They call it free massage. They call it, so, they make something positive out of even their challenges.
They funkify it.
Yeah, so Nigeria, we keep complaining. We can start with what we have.
We actually have culture of complaint.
Yes. So it's not only about the government. Yeah, we also, when I say we don't see Nigeria,
but to help if government leads by example.
Government gives direction.
Live by example.
By example, yes, I agree 100%. Yeah, because we stand ready. If government leads by example, every
Nigerians are very good followers,
and we are producers.
Yes. Yeah. So okay, Yinka, before we go on break, let me. There's something I coined, and I call it wanderlust. And what do I mean? Nigerians often prefer Dubai, London, or Paris, places like that, over places like Obudu. You just mentioned Enugu, Calabar, or Yankari, for example. Do you think we are ashamed of our local destination, or is it lack of proper understanding and appreciation? Or even infrastructure deficit, like you hinted?
We are not ashamed. We are just not aware. The communication is not out there. We are just not aware, and it's not just Nigeria. We also don't do Africa for Africa travel enough.
So what is Nanta doing about that?
You see, one thing I didn't say about Nanta is that Nanta is very patriotic. Yeah, I would have come with 2 magazines.
Okay.
Nanta, in the last 3 years, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, Nanta had consistently taken Nigeria back to the World Tourism State. That is the WTM.
Okay.
Yeah, and this we did without any subvention or support from government. From the funding of our members. So we can't thank our members enough. Yeah. So the WTM is a world stage, and every time we go to WTM, we take Nigeria there. What do we take there? We take the tour sites, and we have magazines, both digital and hard copy, that catalog this. Yeah, we take our.
So you're selling Nigeria to the world.
We are selling Nigeria to the world. I didn't know.
Are there deliberate steps, initiatives to sell Nigeria to Nigerians?
Yes. that there are steps to sell Nigeria to Nigerians, and we have other associations. We're a member of EFTAN, Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria, Associations of Nigeria. We have EFTAN here. So we are beginning to sell Nigeria to Nigerians, and it's beginning to happen.
It's beginning to happen. So do you think federal government is sufficiently selling Nigeria to Nigerians?
Look, Dr. Ken, we are still reviewing the tourism policy.
Okay.
The national tourism policy. We are still at that stage. So as I speak to you now, right, there is no policy that dictates a strategy. That's why I say we have to get serious, about Nigeria. What we need from the federal government is a policy that is endorsed by government, right, and the seal of government. We all know, that people, particularly people like us with marketing backgrounds, we all know that our tour sites can be donor funded.
Yes.
This is The Discourse with Dr. Ken.
Now, you mentioned government, and a lot of people are eager to hear that. And, and are eager to say that government have their role to play. They think government have not really paid attention to this industry. So, government policies are often cited as barriers to most things in Nigeria. And in this case, since we're discussing tourism, government policy have been cited as barrier to the growth of tourism. Is it just an excuse, or do private players like yourself also share some responsibility for the industry's stagnation?
Yeah, so when we say government, we are all part of government, yeah?
But you know what I mean.
I know. Because I'm feeling me on the spot. Remember that I lead 3,000 corporate members, and sometimes what you say can be taken as a position of the association.
You may not be properly understood.
Okay. So I think that, like I said, number one, I pray for every leader that we have as a Nigerian, because that's a responsibility. We pray for every leader to succeed.
Because they have to succeed.
Because they have to succeed.
We succeed, isn't it?
Exactly. But I think that our leaders, including Nigerians, we don't take Nigeria seriously. We have to start taking Nigeria seriously. For tourism, we still do not see tourism as an economic product. And it keeps staring us in the face, right? The median age for Nigeria is 18.2 years. Those guys coming up are nomads. They are seeing Nigeria better because the positive things that are going out about Nigeria today are from them. So we have to take advantage of them. They are inquisitive, they are adventurous. So we need, to invest around them. And they will throw up a lot of opportunities for us. All we just need from government is to give us that policy and to give us that support, incentives. Let me give you an example, right? Because I made the tourism board when I went to Gambia.
Okay.
And you find the only thing Gambia has is a coastline. That's all they have. We have over 2,000 assets, including you, Dr. Ken, because you're a tour asset yourself.
Explain.
Yeah, I will explain that later. Maybe off there. And you know that I know what I'm saying. So Gambia, what they have, the primary thing they have is that coastline. And we have a coastline that is even 10 times that size, right? Let me tell you a few things they do through their tourism board.
Okay.
And how serious they are. You cannot build within 800 meters from the coastline. If it is not hospitality. No matter who you are, even the president cannot build. The coastline in Nigeria, you know what happens to it. We don't need to go there.
It's all commerce.
Every private house wants to have a beach line. But the only property that will have a beach line is a hotel. So when you go there, almost all their hotels have beachfronts. Secondly, if you're a foreigner and if you are investing in their economy, right? You have 5 years, tax concession.
Tax holiday.
Tax holiday. If you need land, if you need expanse of land to build a hotel, no matter how big it is, you have 5 years to start repaying. So when we are talking about tourism in Nigeria, we are not saying government should put down money. We are just telling government to enable us with the right direction and with the right support and the right incentives, right? Given the right incentives, Dr. Ken, in 2 months, we can get a donor to rebuild the Yankari Game Reserve.
Really?
With the right incentives. We can get a donor to build. Look at what...
What are our laws?
Yeah, so when you are talking about incentives, the incentives are as robust. They are as robust as the policies.
Our laws, policies, and governance.
So when you are talking about incentives, you have to bring in different arms of government, and then they see it. Yeah, the law, what's it called? The judiciary, the tax people, they all have to come in. Yeah, because incentives cut through them. Yeah? Incentives cut through them. Now we can also, people like you and I can also help if we have that tourism plan. People like you and I can also affect the communications industry. We can speak to APCON, or we can get government speak to APCON, that, to encourage every Nigerian advertising to have a positive Nigeria content. We have to start from there. We have to be very positive about Nigeria. That's all we need. Nigeria is self-exciting, right? If the infrastructure is there, Nigeria will sell itself. We have everything. Even our greatest asset. Our greatest asset is in us. This is the only country where I know that we are greater than our trials. We are greater, and our spirit is inimitable. You understand what I mean by that? You understand the resource story. You trained us. Our spirit is inimitable. So what are we waiting for? We just need that direction from government, and we also need to be serious with ourselves. Now, as a conclusion, let me just quickly conclude there. I don't know if you saw a video that has been trending in the last 2 days about an airline almost becoming a Molwe.
Oh, yes.
So if you look at that video on the surface, you'll see that it is the airline problem. But to me, it's not a problem for the airline. It's a pipe of inefficiency. Because the airline is not responsible for security on the tarmac.
How did those people get there?
Yes,
in that manner.
Exactly.
In that staccato manner.
Exactly. So that's Nigeria. That's the pipe we need to fix, and it's not the airline. In that case, it's not the airline. The airline has come forward to say that, it's weather. We all know that airlines are excused on weather. But even if it wasn't weather, that site and that scene
should not have occurred.
Is that same pipe of inefficiency.
It's a brand eroder.
Yes.
National brand eroder.
Exactly.
Yes, and somebody somewhere should be concerned.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we generally are not concerned. We face our businesses. The person in charge may be on holiday.
He's not even seen Nigeria.
He's not even seen Nigeria.
He's not seen Nigeria.
It's a predicament. And talking about predicaments, that takes me to Japa and the Japa culture. And now these days we've added another word, Japada, So we have Japa and Japada, isn't it? Let me take you there. But I have a very interesting question to ask around this Japa thing, because I want to get you to connect it to travel and culture and tourism, because there's a connect, there. Because the Japa culture is often now romanticized, if I can use that word, as a symbol of hope. Do you think this wave has any real impact on travel and tourism, or is it just another form of national brain drain?
Yeah, I think that in our own time too, you remember Andrew, I'm checking out.
Yes.
Yeah. So Japa had always been there. People check out and check back. And I know half of our colleagues, that had to come back. And even those of them that didn't come back, they won chieftaincy titles in Nigeria today. So Japa is a trend. It will simmer down. And there is nothing wrong. You see, if people didn't leave, the world wouldn't be as big. Right?
It's an experience. It's education.
Exactly.
And you go, you learn, you bring things back.
Exactly. So people move from, I was talking to my son, he said, Daddy, the number of Indians are coming to Canada. So it's not it's not something.
But by the way, Yinka, talking about Indians, and let me use that to tie.
No, I usually don't like to talk about.
Because you just mentioned that.
Tribe.
I'm talking about India in the positive sense. Because the effect of Japa, for example, on national economy and productivity. Listen to this, Yinka. In 2022, India's inward remittances hit $108 billion. For Nigeria, that same year, the peak, not that same year, but for Nigeria, the peak we've ever had was in 2018, and which was just $24 billion. India, 108, and Nigeria, 24 billion. Now, in 2022, dollar to Naira was 750. So the 24 billion comes to 18 trillion naira. This is about 2 times the retained revenue of the federal government for 2023, which is last year. So did you see how important just one item can generate? Because you alluded to that. So if we are deliberate and pay attention,
exactly,
we shouldn't be talking about oil or barrels of oil. You could see where we are, and this is just at an exchange rate of 750, 24 billion, and 24 billion we are 4 times behind India. You know, so the question is, how can travel and tourism help grow these numbers sustainably? Can we in Nigeria be more deliberate for once?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. You see, Nigeria has a spirit that is unending, and all we just need to do is to continue to mirror the Nigeria spirit. Yes, we can, and yes, you know, tourism and travel will deliver it to Nigeria. Yeah, it will deliver it to Nigeria. It's just the direction that we need, and for as long as oil continues to dry up, you know, we start to, you know, because we're still drinking oil, and some of us still want to drink oil.
Do we have a minister for tourism?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have a minister for tourism. It was a standalone ministry.
Now it's been separated.
Yeah, now it's been merged. Okay. But I have no problems with the merger.
Okay.
Because it's been merged with other parts of the economy that fit tourism.
So you've been asking for policy and some plan. Is it coming out from this minister?
It will come out.
It will come out.
We are the final draft.
Okay. So whoever is in charge is sufficiently concerned.
Yes. The former minister, you know, she was not a very outward person, but she was a mechanic like you and I would say. Yeah.
Yes.
She was very professional. She's an IT person.
Okay.
Yeah. So she focused more on policy and she focused more on database of our assets. Yeah. And when we say database of our assets, which eventually will move us to data analytics, that will support tourism. So it was a good direction, but it wasn't a direction that was out in the public. Yeah.
Like I said, if you don't tell, you don't sell.
Exactly. So she wasn't necessarily celebrated in the public.
You're as good as you are perceived.
Yes, but they say perception wins. Your heart rules. Yeah. But she did. She started.
Job,
She started
the foundation.
Yes, she's laid the foundation, and I hope that it's going to continue. Now, the new minister the new tourism whatever now is now Minister of Arts. Culture, tourism, and creative economy. I think they are all tied together, so I have no problems with that. The important thing is that to take out tourism from there, because all of this fit tourism. I can tell you comfortably, right, that the national tourism policy is at the final draft.
It's at the final draft. Okay.
Yes.
I can't wait.
It has addressed quite a lot of things.
I can't wait. So now, still on the Japa thing, you know, I'm tying it to tourism today. And you spoke about Jakwada, which is the return dilemma. For those who Jakwada, returning to Nigeria is often seen as failure for some reason. How do we reframe the narrative to show that coming back home can also be a smart move, especially for the travel industry?
Yeah, you know, I don't see failure. So my message to anybody that Jakwada is that you know, failure is an unending process. Neither is success.
Yes.
It's never final. You know, so you've gone to explore, it wasn't that favorable, and you took a wise and smart decision.
Because you always have an alternative.
Yes, you always have an alternative.
So you have the right to beat a retreat.
Exactly.
If what you knew was better than what you have explored.
So come back home.
Yes. So tourism versus immigration. Do you think the Japa trend reflects the failure of tourism? I'm still trying to link them. Is there anything tourism and travel can do more in Nigeria to inspire people to stay and explore our own country?
Yes.
We've touched on it quite all right, but I want emphasis.
Yes, tourism, because tourism it's a low-hanging fruit. I just told you about the median age of Nigeria, and it's young that drive SMEs, and SME employs over 80% of Nigeria's workforce. All we need is that direction from government. All we need is incentive. All we need is a basic infrastructure, and Nigeria will fly. The young ones look, our population, 70% of our population is below 35 years. And those guys are ready. Or you disagree with me?
I agree completely.
The young guys are ready. You know, from their music to everything, to fashion, they are ready. It's just that enabling environment. It's just that direction, right? And when we start seeing that there's enough for us to do in Nigeria, not only for us to do in Nigeria, there's also something called inbound tourism. And that's what NANTA had been doing in WTM. Now, the federal government had gone in 2000, and we congratulate the federal government for doing that. And that was spearheaded by the former minister, Lola Adejon, which was also supported, by the current minister, Hanatu Musa, So, yes. So, there's also something called inbound tourism, which will be a major forex earner for us. So, we need to continue to advertise and sell Nigeria. Once we get onto that mode, our boys will plug in. The Nigerian in us will plug in. It's just and then for our government to lead by example. Let our government also sacrifice, and let our government really, get us to focus on that production that we need. And we are self-exciting. We will do it.
Okay.
So I am 100%.
Okay. You're very positive.
Positive about
right.
Nigeria.
So that's good. The good thing is that me and you come from the same background, the same industry, and in fact we worked in the same institution for a long time. So I know that what you are saying, and I can relate with it. And you know that during those number of years, when the multinationals we worked with confronted difficult times, for them it was difficult and impossible, but for us it was an opportunity to bring solution and innovation. So with pig milk, for example, cowbell came and it became a problem because the price point was a big issue for pig. You couldn't quite come down from your high horse. Cowbell was cheaper. They made it small, snackable. You remember Indomie too, they made it smaller, snackable. And many other products from FMCG, which we found innovation too. So tourism today is looked upon like something that is specifically a product that caters for the elite, if I can say. So how can we make tourism snackable, just like we make those products I mentioned? Can we now make it snackable and promote it in such a way that the man who is on average salary and remuneration in Nigeria can begin to relate with it and take advantage?
Okay, yes. So, I'll disagree slightly. Tourism is not elitist.
It's perceived as such.
No, it is not. It is perceived as such. But if you work, like you said, we are the same background, So you and I see communication from the point of view where you need to see it. And I've been in travel for 15 years, actively. I consulted for more than 5 years before I actively got into travel. A McKinsey report, a 2024 McKinsey report, has taken tourism away from luxury, away from interest, and now placed tourism as a priority. Dr. Ken, if you interact with the younger people, right, you would see that tourism is not a luxury.
Okay.
It's a priority to them. They are nomads. We even call them digital nomads.
But do they have
want to travel?
Where is the money sitting? Is it sitting with the younger people or with the elite?
Exactly.
So because it's not you admiring it, it's you being able to take action, call to action,
Exactly. So those are the things that we need to address. And that's where, it now goes back to government. It now goes back to government to give us proper direction. It goes back to government to give us proper direction. But your association
in itself, how can you make it smaller and tangible by way of product so that it will be priced as such that the average person can afford tourism and travel?
It depends on what you see as tourism and travel. You can go to Olumorok.
Okay.
How much does it cost?
That's what I'm pushing you to, because can we package it and communicate it and make it snackable?
Yeah. Those are the things that we're talking, and that's why at the beginning of this conversation, I said that there's a lot of work for people like you and I.
Yes.
It's about commoditizing tourism.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. Yes.
And we can commoditize tourism.
We can.
And that's why I said, the former minister, number one, we are starting with, what is the database of our tour sites? We are not even aware. Do you know the first time I went to Olumorok, Dr. Ken?
Okay.
And I'm a Yoruba chap, The first time I went to Olumorok was 2.5 years ago.
Just
when I went for a burial and we finished on time and there was enough time, let me go to Olumorok. That's the first time I have been to Olumorok. Why? Because it's not been in my consciousness. So yes, I agree that we should start with what we have. We should start from the small things. And we should secure that corridor. That corridor, to some of these tour attractions. Yes, we can commoditize.
Because if we don't have to secure the whole of Nigeria at the same time, let us secure the areas that give that impact on our economy and revenue, isn't it? And we'll deliberate about that.
I agree.
So now, cultural stereotypes, Inka. Nigeria's diverse culture is both a strength and a challenge, and I'm sure you agree with me. how much do inter-ethnic rivalries and regional bias hinder us from uniting to promote our cultural assets?
I don't think, personally, I don't think we have cultural barriers. I think that our barriers are created by our leaders.
Okay.
You know? Does it ever occur to you that, I relate to you like a brother.
And that is what it is, yeah.
Does it ever cross your mind that
no.
Whenever you are doing anything, you call me personally?
Oh, yes.
So I learned that from my father, that there are no issues between us.
Yeah.
The issues are, from our leaders. And they do that to keep their manipulative holds on us.
Yes.
It's a manipulative hold.
So how can we free ourselves
They
from
make
that?
you think, yeah? They make you think. You see, look, the younger ones will free. Because they're not thinking.
It's a question of time.
It's a question of time.
Yeah. And I think time is running out. Actually.
Yes, time is running out.
Because that method is becoming mundane.
I mean, come on.
Completely.
You are not going to...
it's not going to last for long. Yeah.
Even the millennials, you can't sell it to them.
Yeah. How much more?
No.
Yeah,
no, so
because you sound really silly, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but
it's just a political thing.
Yeah.
Let's ignore things like that.
Since we have people who still perpetuate it, we should find a way to begin to talk to them, to tell them that, listen, you are progressing in error.
Exactly. Yeah, they definitely are progressing in error.
Yes. And, so, Yinka, we have barely 15 minutes. Let's talk innovation and opportunities. So, there's no way you talk about innovation without talking about tech. But in Nigeria, I hear tech. Is it tech or talk? Technology is often touted as the future of tourism, but in every sector, I hear tech. For me, it's more of talk than tech. What do you think?
Like I told you, since I became NANTA president, I almost on a daily basis, I get invites to come and talk. It's impossible. And I keep telling people that I don't like to talk. I like to reflect.
Yeah. Because
almost everything you talk about, you hear the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And nobody is doing the reflection. Yeah. So and this program, it's getting us to really reflect. Yeah. Technology. Would it help tourism? Yeah. What are the opportunities it presents? I told you that the former minister was IT based and she was IT focused. So I am aware. I am aware that there's a database of our tour assets. Yeah? There's a database of our tour assets ongoing. And if we are efficient with it, and when we get to the point, to the correct point, what will it do? What will it present to? What opportunity will it present to tourism? Data analytics, right? And we all know what data analytics is. You can predict preferences of of potential, tour visitors and all of that. You can easily tell them, oh, this is where to go, that is not where to go. Then there's nothing coming up now. VR, not VAR.
VR.
VR is virtual reality.
Okay.
In a country with the expanse of Nigeria, right? A country with the expanse of Nigeria, that virtual tour of our tour sites would help, right? So, and I keep going back to the adventure, the inquisitiveness of the youth, and they're also the tech drivers, right? I, for example, will recommend a virtual tour corner in every airport in Nigeria. So when you come into Nigeria, if you're a visitor or even in Nigeria, there's a VR tour, there's a VR corner, right? So it can take you through a virtual reality. It can take you through your experience in Yankari Game Reserve. That's an opportunity for tourism. And that will happen because we know in travel, how much virtual travel, has influenced the actual travel. So can you imagine you landing in Nigeria and there's a virtual tour corner and you can go through virtual experience of about 20 tour sites in Nigeria? So you want to choose, okay, it is the north you want to go. It takes you through. It gives you the experience of our
within the facility called airport, isn't it?
Yes.
So the airport in itself must be comfortable.
It must be
air conditioned.
That's okay. The airport The woman is doing well.
Okay. No, I'm just telling you what is needed.
Yes,
you can't have this in reality.
I sweat a lot.
Okay.
I sweat a lot. I don't sweat in Nigerian airport anymore.
Okay.
So I think I think we're getting there.
Yes.
And just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, UBA renovated one wing of the old airport, and that's why we're saying that you can cut corporates into CSR.
I have to get those stuff out of the way. And get the officials to behave properly.
So eventually, when you get the place clean, touts will leave.
They live on their own.
They live on their own. You remember this guy, Tunji Bello? He's now the FCCPC boss. When he was commissioner for environment in Lagos, you know how he got rid of that? He just beautified the whole place. So it's still on, they won't go on it. It's just like telling you to go.
So I have another question from Chidima here. Chidima is here. I like the way you are flowing. It reflects your education and exposure, and you have mentioned about your training many times on the program. What is this you are training?
Oh my goodness.
So please explain to Chidima and go so that they learn.
So Chidima, I am I don't even know how to start.
Basically Chidima wants she wants inspiration probably. So, probably what is your background?
So, Chizima, I have a first degree. I have a first degree in geography and regional planning.
Okay.
Then I did a master's, with a bias in transport in the University of Lagos. Then I went ahead with my professionals with the Child Institute of Transport in London. Yeah. So I'm a corporate member, of the Child Institute of Transport. I didn't stop there. I also, aside from other small professional qualifications here and there, I also did my MBA with Business School Netherlands on the Action Learning Program, Executive MBA program with Business School Netherlands. In the last 15 years, I've been a member of faculty. It's like a lecturer, but we don't call ourselves lecturers. We call ourselves coaches and facilitators. I've been a member of faculty, local faculty with Business School Netherlands, and my PhD is in view.
I want to believe that young people would learn a lot, especially for a program like this that's turning out to be a masterclass, so that every Sunday you learn how to build foundations and how to progress in your life, in whatever chosen career. Okay, Yinka, you have opportunity now to give us your proverb for the week and then your preferred music for the week. And then we'll go and start dealing with the chicken.
Okay. My proverb for the week, it's in Yoruba.
Okay.
It's something that had always interested me because of the way Dr. Ken and I think.
Yes.
I remember Dr. Ken once told me that, look, Inka, keep your integrity intact because it will become a scarce commodity in Nigeria someday.
Yes. And that was many years ago.
Many years ago. I remember we were in the Rotunda in the Koi Club. And it stuck. It stuck in me. So, Enti Obama, wele aye yimo, abadi ninu iyo.
Okay. What you need to help with the translation.
Enti Obama, wele aye yimo, abadi ninu iyo. What it means is that, maggots in salt.
Okay.
They don't survive. Yeah? It doesn't survive in salt. But if you want to clean up this world, you find maggots in salt living.
Okay.
So that means it's a tough task. Yeah? So some of all these things we are talking about, they are really tough. So we just need to be very resilient.
And deliberate. And come out with a plan.
And
there should be a plan in the first place.
Yeah, there must always be a plan. We must be resilient. We must be intense. We must be acceptably intense because it's a tough call.
Yeah.
Even as Nanta president, when I say that I'm standing on fair play, I understand how tough it is. Yeah? But just keep at it. Yeah? Keep resilient and keep intense.
Okay.
So that's my proverb.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I told the producer earlier because you have your choice of music. Which one is it?
Just give me any fella. So far for what enjoy for.
I thought we were enjoying this season. So why do you choose the team Suffer? But if you insist,
no. So help me. So help me. Which Doctor, help me.
Yes. I like Shakara anyway.
Shakara or Lou,
yes.
Okay, yeah. Anything for that, I like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you out there. It's compliments of the season. It is Christmas time. Remember that you have neighbors that are not necessarily Christians. They too should enjoy the festive season with us. So meaning that you have to be generous to everyone, irrespective of religion, creed, or tribe. Just enjoy the season and make sure we carry this mood to the next year. And I want to believe that 2025 will be a far, far more positive, brighter year for Nigeria. All the best. Compliments of the season.
And that's it on The Discourse with Dr. Ken.